All right, Sarah, Governor Asa Hutchinson will return to Arkansas today.
He's been in Cuba since Sunday, speaking with dignitaries and foreign ambassadors about open trade. Close to 50 Arkansas business owners joined him for the trip, and it's all in hopes of building a stronger trade relationship between our state and their country.
And the governor says this process will be slow because of challenges. Right now, the U.S. only allows cash trades, but Cuban officials prefer exchange for credit.
Senator Bozeman has taken the lead in Washington for legislation that would authorize the extension of credit for agricultural sales. That's an important first step.
Governor Hutchinson says the second step is improving Cuba's banks, telecommunications, and internet access. He's the first U.S. governor to visit Cuba since diplomatic relations were restored in July. Conway police busy tracking down a man they say ran off during a recess of his trial. Officers say Michael Rowland was out on bond. He showed up for his trial yesterday, but he reportedly left in a car and was later seen jumping out of that car near Central Baptist College. Rowland is facing drug and battery charges, and police tell us failure to appear and bond revocation charges will be added. If you see him, call police. The family of the Little Rock man who was shot and killed outside of his home now offering a $15,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of the person responsible. Dennis Soba was shot back in August. Family members say they heard a commotion outside of his Colonel Glenn home, and when Soba went to check it out, he was shot to death. State police say 2 people are in custody after a high-speed chase in Benton. It happened yesterday on Interstate 30. Reports show officials started following the SUV because it matched a vehicle description that they believe was part of a robbery in Garland County. State police say they chased the pair for 10 miles before they finally stopped and were arrested. Names and charges, though, aren't being released yet.
8 inmates on death row trying to put a stop to their executions. They're arguing the state's refusal to reveal where it gets execution drugs is unconstitutional. Yesterday's filing says Arkansas's new secrecy law violates a previous settlement with the state that ensured inmates would be given the information. The state is set to resume executions at the end of October. This will be the first one in 10 years. In Georgia, the only woman on death row in that state has been executed. Attorneys for Kelly Gissendaner filed a series of appeals last night trying to save her life, but she was put to death early this morning. She was sentenced back in 1998 for plotting the stabbing death of her husband with her lover. Gissendaner is the first woman to be put to death in Georgia in 70 years. Vatican officials have yet to confirm a meeting between Kim Davis and Pope Francis during his visit to the U.S. Davis's attorney revealed yesterday the two met briefly last week at the Vatican embassy in Washington and that the Pope told her to stay strong. The Kentucky clerk spent several days in jail earlier this month for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. And more rain on the way for the East Coast as a result of Tropical Storm Joaquin. Flood watches are now in effect into the Northeast following record rainfall yesterday. Joaquin is currently churning in the Atlantic and could soon become a hurricane. Back here in Arkansas, Little Rock expected to break an all-time record for one of the driest Septembers in more than a century. According to the National Weather Service, this month, Little Rock has only had 0.12 of an inch of rain. The previous record set back in 1917. 0.27 of an inch. This means we're going to have to see less than 0.16 of an inch before midnight to avoid making history, this impacting businesses.
Most of the lawns that we've been doing, they got dried out.
Precipitation records have been kept since 1874, and there have only been 4 other September months in history that have made the top 10 driest month list.
6:37 now. Nonstop flights to New Orleans will soon be offered at Clinton National Airport. Glow Airlines says daily flights will begin in November. A one-way ticket is $189, and Glow operates out of New Orleans and also flies to Shreveport and to Memphis. And more news from Clinton National. Recent numbers from the National Bureau of Transportation shows that airfare in Little Rock has been above the national average for years. The airport's executive director says he wishes there was something that he could do about it, but it's out of his hands.
The airlines really hire all sorts of mathematicians, actuaries, and so forth, and they look at demand, they look at how people buy and what they do, and that's what really manages the air prices, the airfare prices.
And you often hear travelers say it's cheaper to drive to Memphis and fly out from there. But get this, comparatively, the Memphis airport has an even higher price markup on the average ticket.
The Bryant School District continues to grow, but some parents and teachers worry its schools aren't prepared for new incoming students. Last month, there was a meeting to discuss the issue, and right now, the district is applying for $1 billion in state funds to expand. This comes after 2 failed attempts to raise their millage tax. School leaders say they've had 37% growth in just 10 years, and they need more room to accommodate everyone.
So we're going to have new buildings. We're going to have a new elementary school because ours are near capacity.
State law requires the district to submit its master plan every 2 years. Superintendent Tom Kimbrell hopes public input will help craft the final version due March 1st.
The leaves are slowly starting to change, and dozens of Arkansans are already making plans to see the best fall foliage the state has to offer.
You can start reserving space for the annual Fall Color Tours through the Ozark National Forest. This year's tour set for October 16th in Jasper. And
the tour consists of a bus route through the scenic mountains, and it's also a great chance to see wild elk.
And it costs $6 a person. That includes lunch. To learn more, visit THB11.com.
Cooler weather is rolling in, but that doesn't mean that you can't deck your home out with floral balls. You heard that right. Floral balls.
Our garden guru, Chris H. Olson, is here on this Home and Garden Wednesday. He's sharing ways to create your own hanging baskets. You need to know this to improve your environment. Next.
Speaking of your environment, it is getting better over the weekend. Temperatures are finally dropping. It's going to be feeling like fall the first weekend of October. Stay here.